Hello, and welcome to maxphotoschool.com. In my first video tutorial, I'm going to talk about doing double exposures on film. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the technical side of taking double exposures with 35mm film SLRs. The two cameras I'm going to use as examples are Canon T90 and Minolta SRT-101. Canon T90 is the camera I usually recommend for 35mm multi-exposures, and it is one of the best, if not the best, manual focus 35mm SLR camera ever made. It is relatively inexpensive. You can pick one up on eBay for around $100–150, and is loaded with huge variety of features, including automatic film advance with a built-in motor. Of course, this particular feature needs to be bypassed if you want to expose a specific frame more than once, and for this purpose, T90 has a simple multi-exposure mode that is triggered by simultaneously pushing the two buttons on the left-hand side of the camera and rotating the wheel located next to the shutter release button on the right-hand side. Once set, and you have a choice of between 2 and 9 exposures, you simply take consecutive shots and the camera won't advance the film until you take the last of the multi-exposures. T90 might be my personal favorite, but vast majority of 35mm SLRs made after mid-1980s or so have a built-in motor drive and almost always have a multi-exposure mode that allows you to bypass it. However, the cameras with manual film advance, which basically means most 35mm film cameras made before mid-1980s, do not have a motor drive and typically do not have a multi-exposure mode of any sort. The problem with manual advanced 35mm SLRs is that the shutter is usually cocked when the film is advanced, which prevents exposing any frame more than once. However, it is still possible to achieve it. In order to make a double exposure on this type of camera, we need to basically fool the camera into thinking that film was in fact advanced. To do that, you need to follow the following steps. Step number 1. Rotate the rewind knob of the camera, usually clockwise, to tighten the film inside the camera. Don't turn it too hard, of course. Stop when you feel like the film inside is tight. Step number 2. You're ready to take your first exposure, so go ahead. Step number 3. Tighten the film again and hold the rewind knob in this position. Literally hold it with your finger. Step number 4. While holding the rewind knob, push the manual film release button, which is usually located on the bottom of the camera. That will release the film and allow you to fool the camera into thinking that you're advancing it, when in fact you'll be doing nothing. Step number 5. While holding the release knob and pushing the film release button, use the film advance lever to advance the film and cock the shutter. Since the film is released and held in place with the rewind knob, it will not actually advance, and you'll be able to expose the same frame again. Step number 6. Release all the knobs and buttons and make the second exposure. Repeat this process as many times as you wish if you want more than 2 exposures on the same frame. And the results might look something like this.